time, the casino workers in Detroit have walked out on strike. They're passionate. What are they fighting for? We've got the story coming up.
This man was once a candidate for governor of Michigan, but now he's a criminal defendant, and he learned his sentence for his involvement in the January 6th insurrection.
And months after 3 students were shot and killed by gunmen at MSU, an independent review of how police responded has been released. We'll have a closer look next.
Working for you. Fox 2 News at 5 starts now.
Nearly 4,000 casino workers are now on strike. Workers walked out from the 3 Detroit casinos downtown.
This happened around noon as soon as their union contract expired. Fox 2's Scott Wolchuk is live at the Hollywood Casino at Greektown. And you know, Scott, just like the UAW, the workers feel that, you know, if the corporations are making record profits, they should make more money.
That's definitely the sentiment for these workers. You know, you've heard of spin to win. Well, how about strike to win a better deal? That's what they're passionate about, and they're fighting for what they believe they deserve. And that's really been the theme that we've seen with all these strikers. And take a look. Would you believe that these guys have never been on strike before? I mean, they've got drum beats going. They've got megaphones. They are really making Detroit history.
We mean business.
Hundreds of casino workers marching out of Hollywood Casino at Greektown alongside workers at Motor City Casino and MGM. It's the first casino strike in Detroit history.
We are overworked and underpaid and extremely exhausted and tired of it.
We didn't want it to come to this, but we was ready if we needed to.
And you can hear the passion on the picket line. The casino workers are represented by 5 unions, which form the Detroit Casino Council. Negotiations took off more than a month ago. Numerous offers have been made by each of the casinos, including increased wages, but no dice. Do you believe this is really the best offer they can give you?
No, they making billions.
What would you like to see done?
Everything we're asking for.
That includes protecting health care, job security, retirement benefits, reduced workloads, and better pay. The casinos each have sent us statements. Greektown saying it's disappointed by the decision to strike after progressive settlement offers. MGM will take whatever lawful action it can to fill shifts. Motor City saying it will continue to bargain in good faith. Each will be open for business throughout the strike. These picketers hoping their voices will be heard.
Show us that you do value us.
Now, what you have to remember is there are about 3,700 workers across 3 different casinos here in Detroit that are on strike. You're looking at chopper footage over Motor City Casino. Obviously, at noon, massive walkouts at all 3 of these locations. Now, another thing to keep in mind here over at the Hollywood Casino, it is here on Lafayette, and it's right next to the Blue Cross Blue Shield building. And those workers marched right across the street, showing solidarity with these other casino workers. So obviously we know that strikes have been the theme for about a month here. We're going to see what happens. We'll keep you updated. Reporting live in Detroit, Scott Wolchuk, Fox 2 News.
Well, we know, Scott, that the casino had said that they will stay open, but 3,700 workers, that's a lot to replace.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it's really kind of up in the air exactly what they're planning to do. Now, they do have plans in place to cover some of those shifts, and you have to also remember there are automated slot machines and other types of games in the casino as well. So you're still going to come in here and still have the same type of experience, but with so many different workers that are walking out, you got to think what's going to happen if this goes on for a fairly long time here.
Right, and so many places dealing with staffing shortages as it is. Scott, thanks for the update.
Well, it is now day 33 of the UAW strike, and the Detroit 3 are facing more challenges tonight. A new report finds losses from the strike have reached more than $7.5 billion. Anderson Economic Group says many auto suppliers have entered the danger zone, which could just lead to permanent loss of production or the need for financial help. We'll have more from that report coming up tonight on Fox 2 News at 6.
An independent review of the mass shooting at Michigan State University has just been released, and it reveals the school and police responded correctly to the tragedy. That report found that in seconds after the initial call, the response by officers was appropriate, timely, and correct. Now, in the 25-page summary, security risk management consultants also cited changes that needed to be made to improve safety. The gunman, a 43-year-old who was not a student, killed 3 students and injured 5 others. He later died from a self-inflicted gunshot. Now we'll have more on what safety improvements MSU now needs to make coming up at 6.
Well, more than 1,000 people have been charged with some sort of crime related to the January 6th attack on the Capitol.
Yes, and one of those is former Republican nomination for governor Ryan Kelly. He learned his fate today for his role in the riot. Fox 2's Charlie Langton with more.
He was once a candidate for the Republican nomination for Michigan's governor.
When it comes to vaccine mandates, we will make it so that there is no vaccine mandates across the state.
But now Kelly is going to a federal prison for 60 days for his participation in the January 6th attack on the Capitol.
Most of these people should not have even been charged.
About 1,100 people across the country have been charged with various crimes related to the January 6, 2021 disturbance at the U.S. Capitol.
Working with the legislature to pass some of this common sense legislation, such as required voter IDs.
42-year-old Ryan Kelly, a real estate broker, conservative activist, and one-time candidate for Michigan's Republican gubernatorial nomination. But he not only admitted being in D.C. on January 6, but pleaded guilty in June of this year to entering a restricted area without authority, a 1-year federal misdemeanor. Kelly said because he didn't like the outcome of the 2020 election. But he was sentenced Tuesday.
If you protest in a certain way or a certain thing, that you're going to go to jail.
Attorney Nick Somberg represented for a time a defendant in the Governor Whitmer attempted kidnapping trial, and he currently represents a defendant in the alleged fake electoral scam. Do you think the charges for January 6th are political?
I think they're all political.
In a sentencing memo, Kelly writes that he went to D.C. to participate in the Save America rally. He never went into the Capitol and did not engage in any violence. But Ryan Kelly was in an area he wasn't supposed to be in, and he pled guilty.
Yeah, well, you know, they found cocaine in the White House, and that person seemed to have gotten away with it. So it's really just pick and choose, I think.
Yet the federal judge ordered Kelly to spend 60 days in prison. In Bingham Farms, Charlie Langton, Fox 2 News.
President Biden will soon be on his way to Israel to offer support.
But he will not meet with the president of Palestine. Their Wednesday meeting has been canceled. It comes after an explosion today killed hundreds of people at a hospital in Gaza City. The Israeli military says it had no involvement, but the Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza claims an Israeli airstrike fired rockets at the hospital, killing many who were looking for shelter from an ongoing Israeli offensive. In the meantime, the Pentagon is issuing ready-to-deploy orders to 2,000 troops in the region, but say they'll be used for military advising and medical support. None are expected to be deployed inside the Gaza Strip.
There will be U.S. involvement. Israel will not be alone. From our perspective, it's something that we really feel. It gives us strength.
We know we have special operators on the ground right now assisting, advising. I think they would be there also if we were able to locate Americans.
Officials in Israel are gearing up for a long fight, saying it could take months or years to fully defeat Hamas.